You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recorded 20th of October 2024.
Welcome to Celtic Ligers, the show
Ligers.
about politics and culture.
Yeah. Didn't come up with a joke, just said what the show's about.
I saw the Apprentice.
Oh yeah, now tell me, yeah. Good.
Not the show, the movie.
Well, the show's awful good too.
I loved it.
I didn't like it because I just didn't understand it. I liked the Irish one because I just like when, because Irish people are so, I'm sorry, okay? Well, I'm Irish, so we can say this, but like, they're just so fucking thick, you know?
Yeah.
And also their like ambitions are so like
mean and low.
This is it. So like, you know, you have like Bill Cullen, and Bill Cullen also a tremendous asshole. Just like, you're like, you know, when you have like Trump, and it's like, wow, what a grotesque but fascinating character, you know?
Yeah.
And the scale of everything that he does, and also like, anyway, but then with Bill Cullen, it's like, yeah, he owns like Renault Motors. And you're like,
yeah.
Okay. Well,
and the guys
cool,
coming on,
you know?
they're like, I want to design a glossier type of paint for the inside of my rental properties.
Yeah.
Or it'll be like a guy in a big yellow suit. Remember there was one guy comes on, he's wearing a big yellow suit, and then they stop him and they're like, I know what you're doing, you're just trying to get publicity. And fair play to you. You got it.
Oh, shut up.
Okay, see you later. It's like, he's just wearing a yellow suit. Like, it was all just so low stakes. Do you know what I mean? Like, in the American one, that guy would have, like, driven in on a motorbike or, you know, he would have done something cool. But in Ireland, it's just like, I got to wear a mad suit.
Is that described? Are you talking about Dragon's Den or The Apprentice?
I'm talking about Dragon's Den. Yeah.
Because in The Apprentice, I can't remember it now where I saw it, but like I or who told me this, but somebody said in The Irish Apprentice that they basically had to. He was like, okay, well, one of your challenges is that you have to start selling fruit, essentially. Okay.
Yeah.
So like buy a bunch of fruit and like flog it somehow, and whoever sells the most, I don't know if that was it, but one of the contestants in The Apprentice, the Irish version. Ran to a hotel room and started taking like apples out of the bowl, just in a blind fit of panic, just being like,
yeah,
like,
no, we're going to give you the fruit.
Well, no, I don't think that. No, they don't give you the fruit, but you're like, call a wholesaler, get some bananas, buy in bulk, sell them. But this guy's like, fuck, I need to sell fruit, and then the first thing he does is like picking apples out of a bowl. Do you know what?
Yeah,
it's kind of like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
like. And everybody in the Irish stuff is like from Quiz Zone. Adults. These are adults.
Yeah.
Who have Quiz Zone brain, you know?
Come on.
Quiz Zone also a great thing. Yeah.
Just hooting at each other.
Yeah. So anyway, that was The Apprentice. Yeah. Sorry. I never watched the American one. I didn't really like it.
But I'm talking about the movie.
Yeah, I know. But that was, to get us back to talking about the movie. That's why we were talking about, you know.
But it's not about it's about the star of The Apprentice, not the show.
Yeah.
Star being Donald Trump.
Donald, what's his middle name?
Jay.
Is it Joseph?
I don't know. Didn't get into that in the movie.
John
Trump.
Donald. John Trump. Fucking.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Interesting.
But I often find that sometimes I love a film for the completely spurious reasons. Do you know what I mean? But the one thing I didn't like is you don't get much of a sense of what Trump was like. It starts off and he's like 30, say, or like late. And he's like going around his dad's property collecting rent.
Mm.
Which I do believe, but he was way too nice about it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Sort of starts off and he's like knocking on doors. And people are like, I know the rent. And he's like, oh, just get it to me next month. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas I don't believe he would ever be that kind.
Yeah, I think the issue with the movie for me is that they're kind of saying like I've heard like there's a great episode of The Dollop where they basically go over Trump's entire history, and you hear about him when he was a kid, and he's like sounds like a complete asshole. You know, he's just been an asshole his entire life. Whereas this movie seems to be suggesting that Roy Cohn was kind of this corrupting influence on him. Do you know?
Yeah. What I got out of it was that like Trump is always. You know, my reading of it is like he's always been an asshole, right? And like he's never had a mind, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's always just like, he's no ideology. He just uses like tactics that work.
Yeah.
You know, like that's it. Like he just, like when he comes under Roy Cohn, he just sees a guy who his tactics work.
Yeah.
And that's why he starts copying him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not like, oh, now I see how the world really works. Or like, this is the true ideology. He's just like, oh, he knows how to get what he wants. And it's this way. It's not like, he's not a true believer. He just does what he thinks works. So I thought it was pretty good at like, I won't ruin it, but he, there's no bit of it where you think anything he does is slick. You know what I mean? Or like anyone. Like,
yeah.
Like there's bits where Roy Cohn is, you know, he's trying to get something done. And it's just like he has like a wire somewhere in someone's house or something. And it's just like, yeah, if I was really rich, like he has his whole house wired up. So he has all these incriminating conversations going on.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, yeah, I could never do that. Like, that's not clever. It's just a rich guy being an asshole.
Yeah.
So there's like, you know what, say in Wolf of Wall Street, there's moments where you're like, oh, that's so clever. Like, or like, he's so good at manipulating people. Whereas there's no bit in this film. It's always just like, yeah, if you're a rich asshole, you could do that. But I couldn't because I'm not rich and I'm not that evil, you know?
Yeah.
It makes it entirely unsexy.
That's good. Yeah, because I'm in two minds about it. I mean, it's just because, do you remember, like Trump like has broken these people's brains, you know? Yeah. And they are obsessed with him. And they talk about him and think about him and do all this shit about him. And then he has to be in everything. If you have a movie, then the movie president is suddenly like Trump even. Yeah. You know what I mean? Stuff like this. There's this kind of... And then there's, of course, the Brendan Gleeson mini-series from years ago with James Comey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then... Like,
it's almost...
yeah.
It does the opposite. At least it's like... It demystifies, you know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say. That's why, from all the stuff that I've seen about it, it seems to have the right level of like it just kind of seems to have hit the mark in a certain way about the way they depict him and the things that they're saying in the movie. And it's kind of just like, it's also like not giving him so much credit as in like, he is, like you say, like a supremely evil con man who has like reached into the hearts of Americans. It's like, no, it's just like plant the camera, watch him for a bit, and see what's happening in a moment in his life. Do you know?
Yeah, and like, there's a bit where Roy Cohn is like his 3 rules. Like it has a classic biopic thing of like showing you where everything comes from. You know what I mean? Like, what was another biopic we watched?
Yeah, because I hate that. That's the thing I was going to give out about, because I've seen like this trailer. In the trailer, they have like he gets handed a Ronald Reagan piece of merch and it says "Make America Great Again." He's like, "Huh, I like that," and you're like, "Shut up! I hate when they do that stuff."
That's the biggest moment of that in the show or in the film. But there's loads of stuff where, like, so say, one of the rules is never admit to anything. Always deny, right? And it's like, well, that's not all that clever. And so, Roy Cohn, you know, someone accuses him of something, or like he's in court and he's like, yeah, the opposition, they never put in this thing. They never put in this filing. It's like they had. And it just makes them seem like it's not clever. It's just obstinate. You know what I mean? Like there's loads. And then when Trump starts doing it, you're just like, yeah, that's just really annoying. Like it sort of works, but it's just annoying. It's not smart. It's just like someone says something, you go, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
So it's like it traces these behaviors, and they always just come back to like someone told him, or he just thought it'd be annoying. And the portrayal is really good. Your man is so good.
It's like, Trump.
Yeah. Because he sort of downplays it. And then just like over the course of the film, he starts becoming like at the start of the film, he's doing loads of stuff with his hands. His hands are really like busy. And it's sort of ineffectual. And then at a subtle point in the film, he starts doing like that, you know?
Yeah.
And like that. And it's like, he's doing the thing that I know from the TV. But it's not like drawn attention to. He's just like, suddenly it's like, oh, this is more familiar. And the funny choice they made was that the portrayal of Roy Cohn was way more of a caricature than Trump.
Yeah.
Like Trump seems like human, whereas Roy Cohn is just, your man from Succession is doing him.
Yeah, Jeremy Strong.
And he's so good. It's so funny.
He is great. He is really, really good. I mean, I think it's like got a Succession writer and a Succession director, and then and it's shot like Succession as well.
Yeah.
But also the other thing is that with Succession, which we're going to be fucking dealing in the aftermath of Succession for decades now. This is the way movies and things look like, and it's kind of frustrating. But the which, by the way, incidentally, just an interesting tidbit, Jonathan Glazer directed the first 2 episodes of Succession and kind of set the tempo, essentially.
Okay.
He's the one who did Sexy Beast, but what was the one recently? Zone of Interest.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyhow, what was my whole point? Yeah, I guess it's with Succession, there was kind of like this feeling of like, oh, look at the way these rich people live. It's really empty, isn't it? But it's also kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
And in this one, I feel like that part of it being kind of cool is not there.
That's completely absent. It's just like, these people all seem like assholes. They all seem completely... they all seem to have desires, but none of them are cool. And none of them are like deep thinkers. They're all just like, I think what they got right was that like Trump, the way he behaves is he sort of creates a situation and then capitalizes off it. You know what I mean? It's just like and I think that's how a lot of powerful people act. Like, you don't have to think about things because you're so powerful that you can sort of create a situation. You know, either by like lying or by doing something, or just by like you get 3 people to agree to something, and then by lying about the 4th person, and then that 4th person has to agree because it's too awkward or they're in too deep, or you know what I mean?
I loved him because Sebastian Stan plays Trump, and he is, I would say, quite a bad actor in general, you know?
Yeah.
But like, he's just kind of boring. He doesn't really have anything, and then he just can't seem to. But then, what it boils down to then is how you deploy him, and I think he was deployed successfully from what I've seen. I just like the idea, because the risk with a movie like that is that you just have like a Saturday Night Live Trump, because he's such a fucking ludicrous character that it's impossible to just. But then I just feel like you have somebody like Sebastian Stan who he just goes, yeah, whatever, I'll read the lines, cool, and he's sad here, he's happy here, all right, and then it's like, I mean, clearly there's an extra wrinkle with, when you were talking about the hand gestures, maybe he's thinking a lot more than I give him credit for, but like he played I think he played Tonya Harding's husband in I, Tonya, and then he also played what's your man's name? The one who's in the sex tape with Pamela Anderson. Tommy something.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. But either way, he's kind of playing these sort of like dirtbags, essentially. And he seems to be perfectly, very good at that, essentially.
Yeah. He also captures how, there's this weird thing about young Trump where he's sort of good looking, but also very ugly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're looking at him and he's objectively an ugly man, but there's just some bit of swagger about him that is just I can see why people would like him, or I can see why you'd find him compelling in a weird way,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah. And even with, say, there's his brother, who's an alcoholic. He feels sorry for his brother, but he keeps being do you think it's easy for me to watch you go through this?
Exactly, yeah.
And it's that is what to someone like Trump, that's what empathy is. It's that's what they think it is. It's you're making this so hard for me by drinking your life away. You know? And there's loads of bits like that where you're just even at his most human, he just is a narcissist,
Yeah.
There's no deeper level. It's all just
I know,
self-directed.
that's the thing. I mean, to go back to that, I think I mentioned it in the past, but I always love that, because let's say you're like Robert De Niro, and this was mentioned on Michael and Us, an amazing podcast, but Will Sloan was talking about how Robert De Niro is obsessed with Trump, the Trump derangement syndrome. So he's I think he's a dog. I think he's worse than a dog. And one of the things he brings up is I don't know what he basically said. He was being interviewed about Killers of the Flower Moon, and he was like, "Yeah, I guess some of my performance, you could attribute it to." No, I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to. And you're just it's so. Do you know what I mean? It's so that guy committed a fucking he genocided a bunch of people, and you're talking about Trump. And the reason you hate Trump is because he's kind of uncouth and ridiculous,
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing is that people always kind of go they spend all this time trying to analyze Trump. But what was his name? I was just about to quote him, and I've forgotten his fucking name. The guy from Shape of Water. What's his fucking name? As if that actually narrows it. Michael Shannon. When Michael Shannon was interviewed about, they were but Trump must be a very interesting character to play. He was why would he be interesting?
Yeah.
He doesn't think about fucking anything. He doesn't know interior life. He just goes, they were what do you think he thinks? And he's I don't know. I want to fuck something, or I'm hungry. I need a cheeseburger. You know what I mean? He's he doesn't think things. It's and I thought that was the best way to think about it. And it seems to be the way that they approach the movie as well, where it's he's not actually some compelling character. He's just a fucking guy,
Yeah. I think it's a weird one because you are sick of hearing about Trump. You know what I mean? But I thought it was a very good character study on him. If it had come out even 2 years ago, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
obviously if you come out during the first presidency or whatever, it's just like, yeah, it's a shame it took like 8 years to make this film. I'm not saying they've been making it for 8 years, but like, you're sort of just so used to Trump and his way that having this film, it almost feels a bit random. It's like, why now? Why making this film now? But for what it is, it's extremely good.
I'm gonna have to watch it now. I think I was probably destined to watch it at some point, but like I wasn't really thinking on it or planning on it, and there's that other thing about like, you know, yeah, it just exposes him, it lays him bare. You have to see this thing, and I was like, I'm sick of thinking about this guy and talking about him, but like to hear just like, nah, it's just a movie, and then like Trump's an idiot, and they kind of, there's a like to go back to the Brendan Gleeson one as well. Like, I remember all the promo for that, and that even the idea of like, so James Comey was the FBI director who basically cost Hillary Clinton the election because of the email servers thing. Well, I mean, it wasn't hers to win, but like a lot of people could say like it was an untimely reminder of how corrupt she is and how suspicious she is as a person, you know?
Like, considering she won the popular vote anyway, like it could very well have lost her the election.
But he then like suddenly like the stuff with Trump where like Trump was like looking for loyalty from him and tried to get him to kind of be his guy, you know?
Yeah.
And then Comey writes his fucking book about it, and then they adapt the book into a miniseries, and it's like it's so fucking embarrassing. But the best one was when Chapo were like reading out extracts from the book, because like some of the stuff that Trump was saying was like, so apparently like Comey's in the White House, and then Trump is sitting at the table and he points at the menus, which are like, he goes, they write those every day. They write them like, you know, like on hand with their hand.
Yeah.
And then Comey goes, yeah, calligraphy. And then Trump apparently like goes, they write them every day. And it was just like, so, and there's a bit like where he's like, the president asked me, he goes, what I want from you is loyalty. And I said, well, what you'll get, Mr. President, is honesty. That's what I want. Honest loyalty. Like the
best line of the film, he's talking about how he's like, what does he say? He goes, there's an art to deals. They go, do you think of yourself as an artist? And he goes, yeah, like, why did Michelangelo paint the Sistine Chapel?
Yeah.
You know? You just like doing it. You know, it's like, it's just so funny. It's just like I know it's film, but it's just like, he doesn't get there's just another level. He's just like, that guy like painting. He like banging them out and selling them, probably, you know? I like making deals. It's the same thing, you know?
I love to just go to him like, what is a deal?
Yeah.
Oh, a deal, like, God. I mean, the deals are like, you know, they're like, you get in and you make the deal.
Yeah.
And then you go home. You got that, you know, it's that power. That's why I was like, well, like, you have, what is a deal? Like, what is a deal? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just like, it's such a strange thing to be
like,
known
there's a
for.
certain
To be like,
point in the film where you can see him just shutting off his brain. Like, he's just like, whatever little question I was doing obviously wasn't working, so I'm going to stop. And that's when he starts being like, yeah, you gotta make deals. There's no bit of him that's like, what's a deal? It's just like, he just becomes like a shark or is always moving forward, you know? And it's just so horrible and depressing, you know?
Well, that's what I like. Yeah.
Again, it's not like, you know, in a boxing movie where the guy like snaps into gear and becomes really good. It's not like that. It's just like, he's just killing his brain.
But also, I just like that. It just if you're comparing the two depictions of the same thing, the Comey dinner, the Chapo version versus the fucking Showtime miniseries version where James Comey is a fucking hero, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like the men at those tables and what was happening, what was in, and then it's just like, no, he's a fucking idiot. There's nothing to him. So anyway, I just think that I'm more partial to those kind of depictions of it as opposed to just like, he's so fucking evil. He's so anything, that he's motivated by anything. You know, it's actually like, sad truth is that he doesn't seem to be motivated by anything at all. He just who knows what's driving him. He's a fucking broken individual. He came out wrong, you know?
He's just doing it because it's what he has decided to do because of how he's raised. Like, he's just a product. Yeah, great film.
Did you hear that as well, that he had a prenup agreement with Marla Maples, I believe, where with each additional child that she gave him, she would get more money, say if they ever got divorced, or something like that. And he had this theory that if he had 5 kids, he wanted 5, then at least one of them would end up like him, would be like him. That was his thinking. So he wanted. Oh yeah, she got more money if she provided him with sons as well. And like what a weird thing. I mean, it's the same with like Musk as well. It's this thing where it's like, you know, I'll have a kid and I want the kid to be like another me. I need another me in the world. You know?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people do think about that as well, but like, no, I don't think in the way that these people think about it, which is incredibly, you know.
I think most people think about children in the way they're like, I want something that's like of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
exactly. Yeah.
Whereas for Trump, it's like, I want me. I want a kid.
Yeah.
Bizarre. But he's also like subservient to me. You know what I mean?
Do you remember this one? Kind of like, I have a hard time believing that this is true, and then I look it up and I can't figure out how to verify it, but like, as far as I'm aware, it is true that when Ivanka Trump died, he buried her at the end of one of his golf courses.
Really? Yeah.
And there was something about that where like the reason that he, why did he do that? I'm going to try and find that out again. But it was like one of these like literal like these kind of money man type decisions, like, well, I can, you know, write off her funeral as a tax expense or something like that, as a business expense.
The moments with his kids, there's not very many of them, but they're very strange. Like, he's showing a tenderness to the kids, but also like he clearly loves them, but his love is very shallow. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I was just reminded of that when he was speaking to that kid about Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You still a believer in Santa? Because at your age, that's marginal, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like he's, it's just weird. It's just like you can't
like,
quite figure it out.
Recently, someone asked him like, "What do you like about your sons?" or say something good about your sons. And he was like, Don Jr., he's very good at hunting. And Eric, he's a good hunter too. You know, he used to go hunting with my granddad, with their grandfather. It's like, that's so weird. Like, hunting could not be any more of a hobby. You know what I mean? It's just like, what do you love about your son? Oh, he's good at piano. You know, it's like, there's not something more essential about him that you love, is there? Because you don't benefit. Like, how can... Like, it's not like Trump is a big hunter and he goes out hunting all the time. It's just like, he's very good at his hobby. Okay.
Yeah.
And so is his brother.
Do you remember that time when he, like, apparently punched his son in the face for dressing in, like, a Mets shirt when they were going to go see they were going to a baseball game. And so he apparently, Don Jr. apparently was dressed up in, like, the team gear. And Trump punched him in the face, allegedly, and said, like, you wear a suit to a baseball game.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
His sons are such slobs, aren't they?
They are so fucking weird. Have you seen how, like
it really is about, like the... Like, you know, what's it called? You know that family who had the chin? They're Austrian. Habsburgs.
Habsburgs, yeah.
And when you see their like portraits over time, it's just the family's getting more and more inbred.
Yeah.
And the features are becoming more pronounced. It's like, you see what was his name? Fred Trump. And it's just like the archetypal dickhead businessman. And then Trump is just a slobbier, more fucked up version. And then like Eric and Don, they're just so freakish and slobby and ugly. You know what I mean?
They're so weird. They are like just...
They're weird.
They're just so peculiar. Sorry, I just remember when Nick Mullen said that, which is the one, Eric. Eric looks like Odo. Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Let me send you a picture of Odo. Just like bringing up bits from other podcasts and laughing.
Yeah.
So stupid.
We should do that. We should just play a come down episode on this one day.
Okay, I'm sending this to you via WhatsApp again.
We need to write for News Check Comedy.
Yeah, I actually sent them an email last night from the pub, being like, "What's your deal? How do I get in on this shit?" I was really on one last night. I was wheeling and dealing. I was trying to figure out how to. Yeah, we've got a guest coming up on this fucking show as well.
It sounds like you were on ayahuasca if you were sending News Check Comedy. Would you actually go on? You just look like that fella. What's this guy's name? Darth Bing Bong or something?
Odo.
Odo. They're running a 4-week course.
Oh, great.
We should do that.
I've always wanted to learn comedy. One of these days.
We should run a course.
We should run a course. No, actually we shouldn't. I was thinking
Darth Bing Bong's course in whatever the fuck.
Shit.
Wow.
Nothing. It's mic nearly slipping out of my hand. Still haven't figured out a very good setup.
TD resigns from party.
Party and will be resigning my position forthwith. I will be making a full disclosure so we can get that clarity, but I won't be taking any questions at this stage. Are there any questions?
I can't hear this.
Right.
Sorry again.
There's something that's cutting it off.
The parliamentary party.
It's probably some of these. Just look it up on your own.
TD resigns from party. Who is it?
It's a News Check Comedy sketch.
Oh. Okay.
Ian Jordan's in one of them.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cool people in them. That's why I was like, what the fuck? How am I not in on this? I mean, what is it? Are they like a content aggregator and then they just start like, whatever?
No, it's like you turn up, they do like writer rooms. Let's come up with, it's supposed to turn up to the writer room. Let's just do a pitch here. Okay.
Like a sketch.
So what's in the news? What's in the news?
Well, here's the headline from the Sunday Times.
Just so people know, News Check Comedy, it's on Instagram, does funny skits about the news. So that's all you need to know. So what's in the news?
This is the Sunday Times. Well, I just thought this headline was very like, scandals leave Sinn Féin facing hefty seat losses in the Sunday Times. And I was like, I retweeted that with Rod and Todd doing their little newspaper, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Like, what? That's not a story. Why is that on the front of the thing? Hey, Sinn Féin are losing votes. You're like, what the fuck? Like, do you have a new development on this? You know what I mean? Like,
okay, we'll come back to that one. Give me another headline.
Okay. Simon Harris racks up bill of €500,000 on private jets.
Okay, here we go. Simon Harris meets Taylor Swift, and this is more of a meme than a sketch.
Right.
But it's the two Spider-Men pointing at each other. And it's like,
Oh, sorry. Now I get it. Yeah.
Spider-Man is like, you're a sexless piece of shit who flies a plane everywhere.
Oh, by the way, guess how old he is. Do you know this?
Yeah. He's
Okay. How old?
He's 22 years old. He's 38 years old.
He's 30.
Him
I
and
was
Hannah
looking up,
McEntee are the same age.
Oh, do you know what I looked up as well? Noel Rock. Noel Rock is back. He's coming to be running again as a TD. Okay.
Do you know who else is running? Do you know who else is running?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't believe I forgot this. Alan Shatter is running.
Yeah, Alan
again.
Shatter
is running again in Dundrum.
Can I say this? I want to put this out there. Okay, I'm constantly trying to figure out a way to tweet this without like being banned. Okay, tell me, is this thought? I was like, Alan Shatter needs to be arrested for anti-Semitism. Okay,
yeah,
because he's decided he's going to come back, and his entire policy platform is hoarding wealth. Alan, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that to the Jewish community. Okay.
He's going to be like drinking the blood of Christian babies soon enough.
Anyway, I was kind of flummoxed. I was like, so what are your policies? The two things that he has, he's like, I'm running on inheritance tax, abolishing that, okay? Which is like so embarrassing. I mean, what the fuck is that? You know, like the most niche issue for like, just maybe it's targeted like a fucking laser at what the constituency he's going for, okay? But like, I also do think that he genuinely believes in it. And then he's also like, what's your second one? Is like, oh yeah, I'm anti-racist. I'm against of like, you know, the rise of racism. And then it'd be like, well, we know what he means by that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they've already raised the inheritance tax threshold.
Yeah.
Like, how much more does he want? Yeah, he's running as an independent.
Yeah.
Calling himself an anti-racist is very funny.
Here's his campaign literature. Let me read some of it, actually.
Okay.
Why isn't that... Okay. Dear resident, I've decided to throw my name in the ring and again stand for the... First of all, you throw your hat in the ring, don't you? You don't throw your name in the ring.
Yeah, how do you throw a name?
Idiot. And again stand for the Dáil as urged by many Dublin Ratdown residents I've met over the past year. I want names.
Who was saying that?
Give me fucking names. This is why. In the Dáil, we need independent politicians you can rely upon to tell you the truth, even when it is difficult. Politicians who have the courage to speak out when either government or opposition parties distort reality for party political advantage. Politicians who have the vision to make a real difference. Do you know what we need? We need politicians who actually fucking do something. That's what I've always thought.
They need to get off their fat asses. Okay, next point.
These fat cats, you know, politicians have the vision to make a real difference, to innovate, create practical solutions to real problems, to acknowledge and understand complexity. Idiot.
But Alan, I thought you were running.
Confront injustice and hypocrisy and rapidly draft new laws that address issues for too long neglected. What? But I think like what they're saying, what he's saying here is what we need is a Zionist voice in the Dáil. That's basically it.
Yeah.
And I find that very funny.
We need anti-Semitism laws.
We need a political culture that is not ageist, embraces wisdom, values experience, and unequivocally rejects racism and anti-Semitism.
I don't think anyone could say that the culture there is ageist. It's like,
no
the president's
way.
fucking 120. Half the Dáil are over 50. Like, it's just not.
Yeah.
How old is he?
I don't know.
And like, even Simon Harris, he's 38, but spiritually and even physically, he's late 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. No. Yeah. I was just thinking about that with Simon Harris. I just was laughing at the idea of Harris being old as shit because he is. Anyway, moving on. Because he looks old as shit, even though he's only like 2 years older than us. Oh yeah, but guess how old Noel Rock is actually? I forgot to...
I don't know who Noel Rock is.
Oh, Noel Rock. I'll send you a picture of him, and then you can tell me. And I was shook, man. He's the one who did that anti-ticket touting thing, the one where somebody dressed up as Del Boy.
Yes, forgot about that. That was so funny.
He's a fucking clown. And I love that Fine Gael as well. They're like, he's running for Fine Gael again. So he lost the last time. He's like, anyway, I'm back, so vote for me this time. And they just, Fine Gael are like, you know, I can't remember where it was, but like, you know, where Fine Gael are like,
up. That is crazy. I looked him up and it gave me his age straight away. That is crazy. If I look like that in 2 years, I'm 34. If I look like him, what the fuck has happened? Like, what will those 2 years have brought me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That man, like...
He saw a ghost or something.
It's like... I went through, like, Graham Linehan's ball cutting surgery. But, like, I videotape it and I watch it to go to sleep at night. Like, every night. Like... and then I'd be like, Noel Rock.
I would say, you know, you're supposed to, you know, apply the moisturizer, not fucking drink.
Yeah. Man, do you know you're supposed to drink 8 cups of moisturizer a day?
Oh, God. A culture in which no pretense is made that every problem is readily resolved by a social media soundbite. One designed to embrace the fact that by the end of this decade, over 1 million of us will be seniors, 65 years or older, with hopes and aspirations.
Okay.
It's just, he's like you're graduating from secondary school or something. You know what I mean? Like, now time at the ripe age of 65 with all my hopes and aspirations for the future. You know?
Yeah.
And what, like, I mean, clearly what he's trying to do is he's kind of, people are like, I mean, I don't know who would be like, you're too fucking old.
Yeah.
Like, nobody would ever say that about a politician. No. You cannot be too fucking old, okay? And he's just going like, now I know what you're thinking. I know you're thinking that I'm too old to do this, but I'm as spry as anybody else. And actually, there's a lot of old people out there. And it's like, no, I was thinking that you were a complete inept and you were a minister at one point and you were a complete fuck up. Yeah. And also that you're an insane Zionist prick.
The thing is, he's a lot younger than he's a lot. I wouldn't have thought he was 73.
He's 73.
Yeah, I would not have thought that.
Jesus, no, I would not have thought that. He looks pretty.
I would have thought he was
73,
like
honestly,
early 60s.
Same. We need politicians committed to protecting our democracy and values, who do not, like Sinn Féin, engage in inflammatory rhetoric and celebrate those responsible for committing terrible atrocities on our island, or who justify atrocities committed abroad. Wow. I love that. He's like,
you're not in Fine Gael anymore. You don't have to bring up Sinn Féin.
But also, like, he's like, he's saying that he's the one who's not going to justify atrocities committed abroad.
Yeah.
It's like, that's your whole thing, man. You love that. We need politicians with common sense who will be a bulwark against political fantasism, extremism, irresponsible public expenditure, and who value genuine community engagement and moderation. So is there any other thing? God damn, he's still going. Will I read it or what? Like,
yeah, keep going.
Fuck me, it's so long.
We can send it to me. I'll read a bit of it.
Yeah, all right. I'll send you. It's in images that what is it? Yeah, but here's another interesting statistic. All right. Would you call it that? Basically, somebody was saying about. Oh yeah. Actually, let me find it. Sorry, but that's the picture there. You can read that while I find this, if you don't mind.
Jesus, so much.
There's another page after that.
This is like one of those like conspiracy pamphlets you get through the thing. You know, where it's like 5 A4 pages stapled together.
Yeah.
In today's politics, where did you finish?
Here's the stat. I found it. Sorry. 18 of the 35 Fine Gael TDs elected in 2020 are standing down. That's 51% of them. Anyway, I just found that funny where it's so who else do we have? And then Heather Humphreys resigned today as well. Or not resigned, but she said she's not contesting the next election.
Helen McEntee is the deputy leader now.
Yeah, but again, like between Noel Rock, I mean, maybe they're desperate and they just need somebody, so they get fucking Noel Rock. Obviously, but then you have like Noel Rock and you have Helen McEntee, and it's just like, you like these people. Actually, it's like, I hate them. I fucking hate them. You like them though, and you'll have to vote for them because otherwise, like, what, Sinn Féin will get in, and they suck, and you don't like them. They're all pedos.
In today's politics, truth and competence have become a scarce commodity. Opposition parties have little offer other than attention-seeking, toxic and misleading negative rhetoric accompanied by exaggerated and undeliverable promises. The government too frequently fails to tell the full truth about complex issues and to completely address our housing crisis, healthcare crisis, childcare deficiencies, immigration, climate change, concerns of seniors, and the urgent need for legal reforms. Too frequently, rhetoric and posturing to attract approval and publicity is deployed to distract from government inaction, incompetence and neglect. So true, Twin. The government scandalously provided over the degradation of our defence forces. Here we go.
Yeah.
And utterly failed to recruit the number of new Gardaí needed to ensure Dublin is properly safe city and county. It has totally failed to provide affordable preschool childcare, an efficient, modernised 21st century emergency medical response and ambulance service, and competent planning, effective oversight, and financial controls in the construction of the long overdue Children's Hospital. So he obviously wrote this himself. It also maintained antiquated, unjust, and punitive inheritance tax laws that wrongly undermine the wishes of those deceased, like me, who are able to do so, to provide some financial security for children, grandchildren, and other family members, and friends. As your TD, I will strive to ensure serious issues are more competently and speedily addressed. My record as TD for over 30 years. Don't mention that. And as Minister for Justice, Equality and Defence. Don't mention that either. Delivering, pioneering legal and administrative reform.
He's like, there's so many crises over the past year, the past decades. The country is run into the fucking dirt. Everything is shit. And I can go in and like sort this out. Finally. Yeah. And I was like, you were a member of that government.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's crazy that you like, it's like these fat cats have presided over all this fucking bullshit, and then you're like, you presided over it. What are you talking about?
I know. Like you were in cabinet.
It's crazy.
Like he's like, the government got rid of the army, basically. It's like, you were Minister for Defence.
Yeah.
You were Minister for Defence. You know what I mean? Like 6 years ago. Do you know? Like, what are you talking about?
And he was in Fine Gael as well, and then they're kind of like going, yeah, the housing crisis is really bad. Somebody ought to do something about it. And it's
like,
I don't know. Imagine being a TD for that long, okay, and then getting out of there, and I was like, do you know what I should have done? I should have done something.
Yeah, should have done anything.
You need to let me back in so I can do something, because I actually forgot to do something the first time around.
What was his second scandal? He was obviously involved in the Maurice McCabe stuff. There's some other thing. What was the other thing he did?
I'll look him up. Wikipedia, probably.
Was it about speeding points or something? I'll keep reading anyway.
Gotta get through it. Gotta keep going. Can't stop. Must finish.
My record is a TD for over 30 years and as Minister for Justice, Equality and Defence, delivering pioneering legal and administrative reform, standing up to vested interests. Like a country. Like a Jewish country. Standing up to vested interests, promoting successful referendums on children's rights and marriage equality. I don't think you can take that one. Either
No.
of those. Children's rights. What was the children's rights one? Sorry. Standing up to vested interests, promoting successful referendums on children's rights and marriage equality, criminalising withholding information on child abuse, modernising our insolvency laws, creating joyous citizenship ceremonies, initiating legislation to create an environment protection agency, vindicating women's rights, reforming family law, and much more proves if elected as an independent TD, I can make a difference and be a strong, active, and positive voice in the Dáil.
The thing that's funny about that as well is that like a lot of those things could only have been achieved by being the governing party. Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's like, all these things prove that as an independent TD, I can have a very, and it's like, they actually prove the exact opposite. Like,
Yeah.
The rest of it, there's one paragraph left.
There's more.
Yeah. At a time when the rule of law is threatened by extremists, aka Palestine demonstrators,
Yeah.
there is a widespread public distrust of politicians and many disillusioned people not voting. I am asking for your number one vote in Dublin Rathdown and for the privilege to again be your voice of reason, decency and common sense in our national parliament. Having dedicated much of my life to public service with your support, I am committed to using my skills, knowledge and wisdom to benefit all who live on our beautiful island and to restore your faith in politics. To restore your faith in politics. He ends on that. That's crazy to me that him being elected, that would not restore my politics.
That would be a real, like, it's like, okay, not only are we doing anything good, we're now going back in time to get the worst stuff from the history. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Do you think he'll get in?
I mean, I don't know what constituency is he running in.
Yeah. Well, look up how many seats he's running in. It's like, he just said it there, I think.
He's running in
Dublin Rathdown.
Dublin Rathdown.
That one.
The fuck? I didn't know he has 14 plus homes apparently.
Fuck off, really?
Are
any of them just like Palestinian homes?
Yeah, some of them are in the occupied West Bank. No. Yeah, how many seats are in there? I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to think of the demographic. I mean, he's got out on his poster, which looks like a far right poster, incidentally, to have like a yellow poster with black text.
Yeah. It's also funny seeing him do the no tie thing.
Ugh, yeah. And I'm looking at his chest. I'm kind of getting lost in it now. Although again, looking pretty well for 1973.
He looks really like Stephen Ray, doesn't he?
He really, really does. I always think that.
A young Stephen Ray.
But
I
don't know.
How old Stephen Ray is?
How old?
He's like 83.
He's not, is he?
He's really old.
It makes sense, I suppose. He's 77.
Oh.
That tracks.
I think he was 83.
What was the one I was going to look up? I was going to read the...
Anyway, do you think he'll get in?
Yeah, I guess the thing I was thinking was that, like, maybe it's filled with old people who are like, yeah, no, fuck inheritance tax. Like, maybe it's a calculated decision. I'm not sure, you know? Like, maybe he's just running in the right constituency.
I wonder what his old constituency was.
I don't know, actually.
I'd say it's the same one. I could imagine him getting in.
Yeah. God, that would be so... His contributions on Gaza are going to be so wretched.
Mm.
We're going to hear some really awful shit if he gets in.
Yeah. Okay. Give me something else in the news. We'll come up with a news check comedy skit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Netanyahu is banned from Galway
Oh, yes.
and Cork, incidentally. But I just liked it because the Galway advertiser, that it just, the headline reads, BB banned from Galway. I also hate when people call him BB. He's too affectionate. He's a monster.
So he turns up and he's wearing one of those Sherpa jumpers, you know, and the Rasta hat. And he's like
going to Galway to find himself.
Yeah. He's like bottle of Buckfast and a hacky sack or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm here for my holidays.
Mm.
I'll go to the first thing, go to the Roisin Dove. My favorite
Form
place.
some comedy.
My favorite place and my favorite comedians. And of course, and then after that, he gets in there, and then after that, no one else will serve him.
Yeah.
What about that for a skit?
I love it. Well, the flip side of that is him trying to sneak into Galway by doing all that stuff that you just said.
Oh yeah.
And then they catch him and they're like, "You're Bard," and he's like, "What? My name's Ben, and I'm just here to enjoy the Spanish Arch and eat garlic cheese chips from Supermax."
Yeah, I'm here for Rag Week.
Yeah.
What else does Galway have? We got the chart. We got the Supermax, Spanish Arch.
I should really know more about this. Like you're actually bringing up more Galway stuff than I am. I'm not able to.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm coming here. I think I might start a band in a few years. But I don't think I'll ever get around to it.
Sorry. I'll go back to college as a mature student and then leave halfway through because I'm unteachable as far as I'm concerned.
Who's that?
Just a Galway personality.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's good.
There's a lot of crusties who got older, and then my friend, he was in GMIT, and there was a guy who was doing like the fine art course with them, and the guy drove him fucking mad because he would like barely submit any of this stuff, and then he'd have these kind of half-assed ideas, and then he'd be arguing with the lecturers when they're just like, this is shit,
Yeah.
Just be like, you just don't get it, man,
Yeah, that's funny.
And then he left. Yeah.
That's the end of the free bit. Go to www.patreon.com/CelticLigers to hear the rest, where they talk about Yahya Sinwar being martyred, Patrick Keelty's Late Late Show joke about Sinn Féin, and famous Irish liar Sarah Carey says Sinn Féin are not to be trusted. Check it out.